Daniel chapter 10, Daniel's vision of a man. In the 3rd year of Cyrus king of Persia, a revelation was given to Daniel, who was called Belteshazzar. Its message was true and it concerned a great war. The understanding of the message came to him in a vision. 2. At that time, I, Daniel, mourned for 3 weeks. 3. I ate no choice food, no meat or wine touched my lips, and I used no lotions at all until the 3 weeks were over. 4. On the 24th day of the 1st month, as I was standing on the bank of the great river, the Tigris. 5. I looked up, and there before me was a man dressed in linen, with a belt of fine gold from Uphaz round his waist. 6. His body was like topaz, his face like lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze, and his voice like the sound of a multitude. 7. I, Daniel, was the only one who saw the vision. Those who were with me did not see it, but such terror overwhelmed them that they fled and hid themselves. 8. So I was left alone, gazing at this great vision. I had no strength left. My face turned deathly pale, and I was helpless. 9. Then I heard him speaking, and as I listened to him, I fell into a deep sleep, my face to the ground. 10. A hand touched me and set me trembling on my hand and knees. 11. He said, Daniel, you who are highly esteemed, consider carefully the words I am about to speak to you, and stand up, for I have now been sent to you. And when he said this to me, I stood up trembling. 12. Then he continued, do not be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. 13. But the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, because I was detained there with the king of Persia. 14. Now I have come to explain to you what will happen to your people in the future, for the vision concerns a time yet to come. 15. While he was saying this to me, I bowed with my face towards the ground and was speechless. 16. Then one who looked like a man touched my lips, and I opened my mouth and began to speak. I say to the one standing before me, I am overcome with anguish because of the vision, my Lord, and I feel very weak. 17. How can I, your servant, talk with you, my Lord? My strength is gone, and I can hardly breathe. 18. Again the one who looked like a man touched me and gave me strength. 19. Do not be afraid, you who are highly esteemed. He said, peace, be strong now. Be strong. When he spoke to me, I was strengthened and said, speak, my Lord, since you have given me strength. 20. So he said, do you know why I have come to you? Soon I will return to fight against the prince of Persia. And when I go, the prince of Greece will come. 21. But first I will tell you what is written in the book of truth. No one supports me against them except Michael, your prince. So this is 11 verse 1. And in the 1st year of Darius the Mede, I took my stand to support and protect him. So why am I on this book of Daniel, Daniel's vision of a man, Daniel chapter 10. It was a vision, and this vision concerned a time in future. 14, which says, "Now I have come to explain to you what will happen to your people in the future. For the vision concerns a time yet to come." So this vision has now been fulfilled. How has it been fulfilled? With the Russian President Putin. He has fulfilled this vision. The man clothed in linen is Jesus, who appeared to Daniel. So, with the Russian president, Putin, opening that vault and unveiling that secret of a black Jesus, this is the vision now being fulfilled. How is it being fulfilled? Because this man that appeared to Daniel, clothed in linen, is Jesus Christ. But now here, when you read 10, it says, Daniel 10:13, it says, "But the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, because I was detained there with the king of Persia." So I was detained there with the king of Persia. Who was detained there? The man clothed in linen, who is Jesus. So with the opening of those Russian vaults, that the book of truth came out of a black Jesus. That is how Jesus was detained. When you are detained somewhere, you are hidden from the world. You are hidden because of some reasons. You are prisoned. So this book was hidden, the book of truth. But now through the Russian president, Putin, when he opened the vault, getting Jesus out from that vault, the imprisonment, the detainment, is how this vision is being fulfilled. So, I told you that Ruto's inauguration ceremony, September 13, 2022, marked the beginning of the Valley of Slaughter. Because Kenya is the woman in labor, Revelation 12. If you have been following my channel, I have already explained that. So with the death of Satan of the world, the red dragon, the late Queen Elizabeth, it marked the beginning of end times, not the end of the world, but the end of dark ruling. So, Ruto's inauguration ceremony, September 13, 2022, marked the beginning of the Valley of Slaughter. Let me read the Valley of Slaughter, and so that I may explain more why the vault has been opened, why this truth that was hidden over many years had to come out. Already I have told you that the true Israel nation, the Israel land, the descendants of Jacob, are Kenyans. The larger populations are in Kenya. But remember the 12 tribes of Israel, they were 12. They have been scattered in the whole world, but mainly they are in Africa. But the larger population, the main population, the Jerusalem, is Kenya. So Jeremiah chapter 7 verse 30, the valley of slaughter. The people of Judah have done evil in my eyes, declares the Lord. They have set up their detestable idols in the house that bears my name and have defiled it. 31. They have built the high places of Topheth in the valley of Ben Hinnom to burn their sons and daughters in the fire. Something I did not command, nor did it enter my mind. 32. So beware, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when people will no longer call it Topheth or the valley of Ben Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter. For they will bury the dead in Topheth until there's no more room. 33. Then the carcasses of these people will become food for the birds and the wild animals, and there will be no one to frighten them away. 34. I will bring an end to the sounds of joy and gladness, and to the voices of bride and bridegroom in the towns of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem. For the land will become desolate. 8. At that time, declares the Lord, the bonds of the kings and officials of Judah, the bonds of the priests and prophets, and the bonds of the people of Jerusalem will be removed from their graves. 2. They will be exposed to the sun and the moon and all the stars of the heavens, which they have loved and served, and which they have followed and consulted and worshipped. They will not be gathered up or buried, but will be like dung lying on the ground. 3. Wherever I banish them, all the survivors of this evil nation will prefer death to life, declares the Lord Almighty. So the main part here, at that time, declares the Lord, the bonds of the kings and officials of Judah, the bonds of the priests and prophets, and the bonds of the people of Jerusalem will be removed from their graves. Meaning that all the deepest secrets that have been hidden will become exposed. Of the people of the land, of the priests, of the leaders, of countries, the kings of the earth, meaning the leaders of the earth. So we have leaders as people, and also we have leaders as countries. There are countries that rule over the whole earth. So they are also the kings of the earth, spiritual kings of the earth. Example is USA. We have the British of the Red Dragon. The Europeans. These are countries that are kings over the whole world. They rule over the whole world. So the bonds of grave here, meaning that all the deepest secret concerning the people of the land, concerning the devilish kingdom, and concerning the heavenly kingdom, all being exposed to the whole world to know and hear, to witness and see. That's why it continues and says, they will be exposed to the sun and the moon and all the stars of the heavens. So, all the deepest secrets being made known. That's why you hear since 2022, there are so many secrets being exposed. So many secrets being exposed, even of the Hollywood industry. So there are some people who have been planted by the Lord Almighty, in some places, even dirty places. But their purpose there, they were planted for a season and time, so that in the end they are able to fulfill the purpose of the Lord, the bone of grave, the deepest secret. An example is the Kemunto case. Many people talked evil, but her case, it is of the light of the Lord. If you can't beat them, you have to join them. So there are some cases that people had to join and be among them, to practice the evil, to practice the bad, so that they are able to uncover the deepest secrets that are going on. So 2022 September 13, the inauguration ceremony of William Samoei Ruto. It marked the beginning of the bone of graves, the deepest secrets being exposed. But the word here still continues and say, they will be exposed to the sun and the moon and all the stars of the heavens, which they have loved and served, and which they have followed and consulted and worshipped. So this same statement means that these people, the kings of the earth, the people, the leaders, in secrecy, many of them have not been seeking the true God. They are not worshipping the true God. They are hiding themselves in idols, which they are consulting, which they are worshipping, which they are bowing down to them. Which are these idols explained here? The sun, the moon, and the stars of the heavens, which they have loved and served, and which they have followed, consulted, and worshipped. So this bone of grave, the deepest secrets, are being exposed to the sun and the moon and all the stars in the heaven, coming to light for all the people of the world to know. So the revelation of Daniel's visions of a man is part of the bone of grave, a deepest secret that was hidden. But now through the Russian president, Putin, it has become exposed as part of a bone of grave. So there are so many things that they are still coming, because Jesus, the truth about Jesus, he is black. And Jesus was of the lineage of Judah. And already I have told you that, if you have been following my channel, already I told you that the Judah clan are lawyers. And I have explained to you that I am the woman president, the bride of the Lord Almighty, having the messianic call, the transfiguration, Matthew 17. And I have explained to you the transfiguration, that at resurrection, Jesus will be transfigured. It is not Jesus that is coming, but the bride. They were coming for the bride, meaning the bride is the one who is being sent, one sent to many with the messianic call. So, and I have explained that I have the seals of God. And I have told you that I am the gold lampstand. I am the servant of the Lord. And I am still the branch of Jesse. And where did Jesus come from? The lineage of Jesus. Where did he come from? Let's find out. We are reading from the book of Matthew chapter 1 to 17. The genealogy of Jesus the Messiah. This is the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers. 3. Judah the father of Perez and Zerah, whose mother was Tamar. Perez the father of Hezron, Hezron the father of Ram. 4. Ram the father of Aminadab, Aminadab the father of Nashon, Nashon the father of Salmon. 5. Salmon the father of Boaz, whose mother was Rahab. Boaz the father of Obed, whose mother was Ruth. Obed the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of King David. Jesse was the father of King David. Now, let me pause here and say, I've told you that I am the stamp of Jesse. So a vision being fulfilled. Which vision is this? We are reading again from the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1. The branch from Jesse. A shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse. From his roots a branch will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of might, the Spirit of the knowledge and fear of the Lord. And he will delight in the fear of the Lord. He will not judge by what he sees with his eyes, or decide by what he hears with his ears. But with righteousness he will judge the needy. With justice he will give decisions to the poor of the earth. He will strike the earth with the rod of his mouth. With the breath of his lips he will slay the wicked. Righteousness will be his belt, and faithfulness the sash round his waist. So I am the stamp of Jesse, the bride of the Lord Almighty, the woman president. And for those who have been following my channel, I told you that from my father's side, Abukusu of the Baichalo clan is the root of David. But from my mother's side, she is also Abukusu, but she is a lineage of Isaiah. So I, the bride of the Lord Almighty, have the complete seal of God Almighty. So here I am, the stamp of Jesse. And remember also, Jesus Christ was the root of Jesse, the root of David. I continue with Matthew chapter 1. I was at 6. And Jesse, the father of King David. David was the father of Solomon, whose mother had been Uriah's wife. 7. Solomon, the father of Rehoboam. Rehoboam, the father of Abijah. Abijah, the father of Asa. 8. Asa, the father of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat, the father of Jehoram. Jehoram, the father of Uzziah. 9. Uzziah, the father of Jotham. Jotham, the father of Ahaz. Ahaz, the father of Hezekiah. 10. Hezekiah, the father of Manasseh. Manasseh, the father of Ammon. Ammon, the father of Josiah. And Josiah, the father of Jeconiah, and his brothers at the time of the exile to Babylon. 12. After the exile to Babylon, Jeconiah was the father of Shealtiel. Shealtiel the father of Zerubbabel. Now, again, I have told you that I am still the signet of the Lord Almighty, the Zerubbabel at resurrection, having the call to build the house of the Lord at the ancient land of Canaan, the mountain of God. Isaiah 2, Micah 4. And where is this ancient land of Canaan? The land of promise. Nalondo to Mabanga. So I am the signet of the Lord Almighty, the Zerubbabel at resurrection. And when you are the signet of the Lord Almighty, you have been given authority. And I have already confessed to you that with me is the judgment book and the book of life. Just waiting for the appointed day for me to read it. But before I read the judgment book and the book of life, the heavens must be shaken. And the day of darkness. So, I, being the signet of the Lord, I have already been made the heir, the first heir of the heavenly kingdom. So, because of the doctrines that we were born and found being preached and we had to follow, we were meant to believe that we will go up above the sky, the heaven above. But it is not that way. It is just here on earth, the ground, where everything is going to happen. So, I am explaining more on the truth that Putin revealed, the Black Jesus, so that you may know the final truth, that the revelation is true, because that book that he found, it is the book of truth. And now I continue Matthew chapter 1, verse 12. After the exile to Babylon, Jeconiah was the father of Shealtiel. Shealtiel the father of Zerubbabel. 13. Zerubbabel the father of Abihud. Abihud the father of Eliakim. Eliakim the father of Azor. 14. Azor the father of Zadok. Zadok the father of Akim. Akim the father of Elihud. 15. Elihud the father of Eleazar. Eleazar the father of Mathan. Mathan the father of Jacob. 16. And Jacob the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, and Mary was the mother of Jesus, who is called the Messiah. So the Black Jesus. And I've told you, lawyers are Judah. So, in other words, Jesus was a lawyer. In the time that we are living today, that is what is said. Because I am a lawyer, pure bukusu. Jesus was a lawyer. That's how you will be able to refer the Black Jesus. So the vision, Daniel chapter 10, vision of a man being, I was detained by the king of Persia, the Russian country. Jesus, the book of truth. So this vision has been fulfilled because God has been planting people in secrecy for a time and season for them to fulfill his purpose. So it is a new season under the heavens. Ecclesiastes chapter 3. They were planted there for a time and season, but time has come to fulfill the purpose of the Lord. So Russian President Putin was planted there for a time and season. And with the opening of that vault, it was time to fulfill the purpose of the Lord. And which purpose was that? The bone of grave being exposed, the deepest secret being exposed to the whole world. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. So, it is a time for that lie that we have been living, knowing that Jesus was a white. It is time for that lie to die, and the time for the new to be born, the new which is the truth, the black Jesus. For the Europeans are the Gog and Magog, and the Americans, they are Ninevites. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. So it is a time to embrace the truth. It is a time to embrace the truth of the black Jesus and the true word being preached by the bride of the Lord Almighty, and refrain from embracing the word that was changed, the false doctrine of the devilish wisdom and the wisdom of books, the earthly wisdom. 6. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. Now here I am back again. The last statement, a time of war and a time for peace. So we are going back again to the Daniel vision of a man. Daniel chapter 10. Chapter 10 verse 1. In the third year of Cyrus king of Persia, a revelation was given to Daniel, who was called Belteshazzar. Its message was true and it concerned a great war. It concerned a great war. Which great war is this? The Gog and Magog war. Because with this revelation that has come to light of the black Jesus, this is what triggers the war. Because the true Israelites are blacks, not the Israelite that we know of today. We were just brainwashed with the false doctrine. So this is what has triggered the great war. There is both the physical and the spiritual war. The spiritual war, it is the war of words, because many are not trying to accept the truth. So they are at war. So the great war is coming, the great Gog-Magog war. And after this war, the great war, the Gog-Magog war, is when finally we are going to have peace. And remember, I explained to you in one of the videos in my YouTube channel that the great Magog war, it is not yet. It has not yet happened. And why has it not yet happened? Because it is only going to happen when We are in desolation. And I have already told you that the place of desolation is the ancient land of Canaan, Nalondo to Mabanga. So when we have gathered during the desolation to build the heavenly kingdom, the new Jerusalem, the city of God, the land of promise, is when the Gog, the Magog, those Europeans, Asians, they will gather to attack because they won't accept. They think that they are superior.